So in today's session, we are going to discuss about on-change client script use cases. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about on-change client script use cases, guys. Well, let me just open the finance case form. So in the finance case form, when I open this form, whenever the form gets loaded, the onload client script will run. Whenever the form gets loaded, the onload client script will run. So here, what we discussed, when the form gets loaded, if the current logged in user has ITIL role, then we can show the section here. If the current logged in user doesn't have the ITIL role, we can hide the section. Okay. So we can hide the section if the current logged in user doesn't have ITIL role. This is actually the first example that we have discussed. Second example that we have discussed here is, so whenever the form gets loaded, I want to populate the default values. Default values will only be populated on the new records. So if it is a new record, we have to populate the default values. Okay. So yesterday we have created two client scripts. Right click configure client scripts. So one is actually about so resolution information section visibility. If the current logged in user has ITIL role, we have to hide. We have to show the section. If the current logged in user doesn't have, if the current logged in user doesn't have ITIL role, we will actually hide the section. This is what we have discussed in our first session. First example. Second example is populating the default values using onload client script. Normally, we will populate the default values. Normally, we will populate the default values using dictionary properties. Here, we are populating the default values using onload client script. This is actually one example that we have discussed in our last session. Okay, and we have discussed another example. What is that example? So we have child tables and child incident and parent incident that we have created on the incident table. Okay. So if you go to the incident list here, okay, if you go to the incident list here, this is a parent incident 4564. So 4564 is actually a parent incident here. So these three are child incident. If I open this one here, if I open this incident here, the child incident, you can see these three incidents are actually child incidents here. These are the three child incidents under this particular 4564 incident. Okay. So what I have told you, only parent incident should be editable. Only parent incident should be editable. Child incident should be read only, is what we have discussed. Child incident should be read only. When I open this child incident should be read only. That is what we have discussed in our last session. For that, what we have done, we have created a onload client script on the incident table. We have created a onload client script on the incident table. Okay. So here I am checking the parent incident is not empty. So there is a field called parent incident field. If the parent incident field is not empty, means that's a child table. That's a child record. If the parent incident field is not empty, if you take a look at here, these three incidents, three incidents parent incident field is not empty. You can see here these three incident parent incident is not empty. Where is that? These three incidents, parent incident is not empty, guys. Okay, this is the parent incident. These three are child incidents. You can see child incidents. These child incidents should not be editable. Okay. So for that, what we have done, we have written a onload client script. In the onload client script, I am taking parent table field, the parent incident field value. If that is not empty, what I am doing is I am taking the all field names. G underscore form dot elements will give you all field names. So using this field name, I am actually hiding all the fields. So yesterday we were not able to make all the fields read only because there is a UI policy in place. Okay. Mm, so I think when I you checked it, right? Is Vinay on the call? So there is a UI policy on the state field. So because of that, it is not actually. So what is that UI policy, Vinay? This one. So I'm going to deactivate this one. Okay. So this is a child incident. Let me open this child incident. Now you can see all the fields has become read only here. You can see all the fields has become read only. Okay. This is a child incident. How can you identify that this is a child incident? If the parent incident field is not empty, you can identify that this is a this is a child incident. If the parent incident field is not empty, you can identify that this is a child incident. So if you see here, this one is also a child incident. This also should be read only. So this is also read only. Okay. Similarly, you can open this one. This is also read only. You can see all the child incidents are read only. Incident. So this is a parent incident. As this is a parent incident, it is editable. Field value, if that is not empty, we are making, if the parent incident is not empty means that is a child incident. So I am actually making all fields read only. So I am taking all fields here. Okay, every field I am making read only using this for loop. So using this for loop, I am making every field read only. Okay. So if it is not a child table, suppose guys, here this is a parent incident. I'm removing this from, let me do one thing. This is a parent incident. Okay. This is a parent incident. So here I am going to remove one incident as a child incident. I am going to remove this incident as a child incident. So this is not a child incident. 6.1. 6.1 incident is not a child incident, guys. Okay. So here only these two are child incidents. 6.1 is not a child incident. I am opening this one. You can see this is still editable. This is not read only, as this is not a child incident. Only when it is a child incident, it will become read only. You have got an idea, right? Okay.
पेट्रोल पंप ले आना कल रात को निकाले गाड़ी मामले ने सटा दी
Only.
पेट्रोल का
Okay. Fine. So I hope you are able to understand the three examples. We will discuss one more example, guys. We will discuss one more example. So guys, here I am creating three more fields on the form. So I am creating three more fields on the form. Right click configure form layout. In the form layout, I am creating three more fields. Email, location. Location is a reference field, guys. I'm creating location reference field. I'm creating, which is referencing CMN underscore location table. CMN underscore location table. CMN underscore department table I'm creating here. So these three fields I created, guys. Guys, you have to understand this one carefully. Okay. Clear, right? So here we have created three fields. In these three fields, this caller, whatever the caller here, right? This caller has email, caller has location, caller has department. This caller email should come populate here. This caller location should come and populate here in the location field. This caller has department. This department should come and populate here in the department field. Okay. So here this caller is a reference field, guys. These are reference values. These are reference values. Remember this point. This is caller value is system administrator. Caller reference values are these ones. Okay. So if I want caller value, system administrator. Caller reference values means caller email, caller location, caller department, user ID, first name, last name. These are reference values, caller reference values. Okay. So if you want caller reference values, okay, if you want caller reference values, okay, you have to use get reference g underscore form dot get reference. I'll tell you. So what is happening here on the form load? On the form load, we are populating these values using onload client script. So using this one, populate default values, we are populating the default values. If you see here, the caller field, we are populating the current logged in user system ID. Okay, in the caller field, we are populating the current logged in user system ID. What is my point is, in the caller field, we are populating the current logged in user system ID. That is okay. In the email field, we have to populate caller reference values such as email, location, department. Caller reference values you have to pass here. For that, what I am doing is I am going to open this client script, default values client script. Okay. So here I am taking the caller reference values where caller reference is equal to g underscore form dot get reference. Is get reference is only used for reference fields. Get reference is used only for reference fields. Caller is a reference field. Only for reference fields we have reference values, guys. Okay. G underscore form dot get reference. That means here whoever the caller, suppose system administrator is there. System administrator reference values it will get. Suppose if it is able tutor. So able tutor reference values you will get. Suppose if you here it is Abraham Lincoln. You will get Abraham Lincoln values. Okay, you will get Abraham Lincoln reference values. So here what I am doing is I am taking the caller reference values. Okay, caller reference values. So caller email. Caller email means here you can see caller, right click on the email field, email. You have to use this one, email. So location, for location, you have to use location. For department, you have to use department. Okay. First of all, I am taking email. Okay, reference value, email I am taking, guys. Location, location. Department. So I have taken caller reference value email, caller reference value location, caller reference value department also I have taken. Okay. So now what I have to do, I have to put those values in the email location department fields, right? G underscore form dot set value u underscore email, comma, caller email. Okay. I have taken the caller reference email, caller reference location, caller reference department. Okay. So that I am actually populating in the email location department fields. That means these three fields. I'm populating those reference values in these three fields. So now what happens on the form load, it will check if it is a new record or not. If it is a new record, it will populate the current logged in user in the caller field. That caller field in the current logged in user, in the caller field, current logged in user system ID, it will populate. So current logged in user reference, it will take. So using G underscore form that get reference, caller email, caller location, caller department, it will take. Okay. So those reference values we are populating in the email location department field values. So just to refresh the form now, you can see here, caller email is populated, caller location is populated, caller department is populated here. So we are taking the reference values here. This is a reference field. System administrator is a reference field. Now what I am doing is I am going to open the user administration, users. I am able to open the Abraham Lincoln profile. I'm going to grant this finance case user role to Abraham Lincoln. No, he has already the role, finance case user role. Okay. If I impersonate as Abraham Lincoln, you can see here. So as Abraham Lincoln, I am opening the form here. In the caller field, Abraham Lincoln name will be populated here. In the caller field, Abraham Lincoln name will be populated here. Abraham Lincoln has only email. He has no location, no department. You can see location empty, department empty. So that is why no location, no department populated here. Okay. So if I impersonate as able tutor, okay. So I have granted a finance case user role to able tutor. Okay. I'm going to impersonate as able tutor here now. So you can see here in the caller field, able tutor name will be populated here. Able tutor is the current logged in user, right? So able tutor name is populated, able tutor email, able tutor location, able tutor department. Here populated, right? So here, if you want to populate the reference values, you have to use get reference here. What I am doing, caller is a reference field. Caller email, caller location, caller department I want, right? So then what I have done, I have taken the get reference here. See, get reference will take the values from database and it will actually give you to the client. So what it does is that, so these caller values are there in the database. These values are in the database. In the database, in the user table, these values are stored. So this get reference will take the values from database and it will give you. Using get reference, you are actually taking the caller email, caller location, caller department from the database. Okay, from the database, you are taking it, you are populating in the form. You understand, right? So let me end. So if I end the impersonation, current logged in user is system administrator now. Now the system administrator is current logged in user. I'm going to refresh this one. In the caller field, system administrator will be populated here. Email, location, department. So what is it doing? This get reference is taking the reference values from database and it is actually showing on the form. Okay. Guys, remember, you have to thoroughly. This one is the form immediately getting loaded. Is the form immediately getting loaded or is it taking little time? When I refresh this one, it is taking little time, not immediately getting loaded. See, I'm just refreshing this one. It is just taking little time. Why is it taking little time? Because it has to It is waiting for values from database. It is waiting for these three values from database. Okay. So we have how many client script? Two client script. So let us say you have 100 client scripts. You have 100 client scripts. Each client script is waiting for 2-3 seconds, means 100 into 2 seconds, 200 seconds. So if you open the form, it takes 3 minutes to open the form, means you will get frustrated or not. You understand, right? See, this client script is taking 1 or 2 seconds time. Let us say in this form, you have 100 client scripts. Every client script is taking 2 seconds time. Every client script is taking 2 seconds time. 100 into 2, 200 seconds. 200 seconds means more than 3 minutes. So if you open the form, if it takes 3 minutes to load that form, means you will get frustrated. For every employee, it is taking 3 minutes, means it is so much of time waste, right? So in that case, ServiceNow recommends asynchronous calls. Asynchronous calls will not wait. It will not wait for 1 or 2 seconds. So remember this point, guys. This is very important point. So here we are actually taking three values from database. Reference values means database values. So we are taking email, location, department values, right? To take these values, the form is waiting. It is waiting 1 or 2 seconds. When I refresh this one, you can see all three values are populated at a time. All values are at a time populated. So I'm just refreshing again. All values are at a time populated here. So why is it populated? Why all the values are populated at a time? Because the form is waiting for 1 or 2 seconds. The form is waiting for 1 or 2 seconds. So if one client script is waiting for 1 or 2 seconds, if there are 100 client scripts, each client script is waiting for 2 seconds, means to load the form, it will take 200 seconds. 200 seconds means more than 3 minutes. So whenever you load the form for an employee, if an employee load the form, if it takes 3 minutes, means that is a performance issue, right? So that is a performance issue. So in that case, we don't recommend this synchronous calls. This is a synchronous call, guys. Okay. We are using synchronous calls. So instead, we have to use asynchronous calls. So remember this point again. All the values, the form is waiting for all these three values. Once it reaches once it receives all three values, only then it is populating these values. See here, all four values are getting populated at a time, right? So this form is waiting for 1 or 2 seconds time. Okay. Now what I am doing is, as per ServiceNow suggestions, I am not going to use synchronous calls. If I use synchronous calls, it will cause some performance issue. So definitely it will definitely impact the form. As I mentioned already, if one client script, we are not able to see the difference. If you create multiple client scripts with synchronous calls, definitely there will be an impact. Okay. So then what I am doing is, instead of using synchronous calls, I am going to use asynchronous call. Synchronous call means it will use callback function. I'm just taking color reference here. After this caller field, you have to use callback function. Callback function. You can give any name, guys. For now, I'm just giving callback function. This caller reference here. Okay. Caller reference dot email. Caller reference dot location. Caller reference dot department. Okay. So here what we are doing earlier, we are using synchronous calls. Synchronous calls. In the synchronous calls, forms will wait. In the asynchronous calls, forms will not wait. Remember this point. So you can use any as many asynchronous calls as you can. If you use asynchronous calls, it won't impact any form performance. I'm going to refresh this one here, guys. Okay, first caller value will be populated. If you observe closely, first caller value will be populated, then remaining values will come. If you see here, first caller value is populating, then remaining values are coming later. That means first form is loading, the values are coming later. In the previous case, what is happening? Form is waiting for these three values. Once it reaches all the values, then only it is populating then only it is loading the form. The form is waiting for three values. Once it reaches the three values, only then it is loading the form. In this case, what is happening? First form is loading, then values are coming later. So that there won't be any performance issue, right? If you use asynchronous calls. You can see here, let me just refresh this one. First caller value is populated, then remaining these values are coming later. First form is loading. First, whenever the form is loaded, without any delay, it is getting loaded. Then whatever the values that has to come, that are coming later. So in the previous case, what is happening? It is waiting for all the values. Once it reaches all the values, only then the form is loading. So if you have 100 client scripts, it will wait for all the client scripts. And then once all the client scripts executed, then form will be loaded. That will cause some performance issue. To avoid that, we will use asynchronous calls. Asynchronous calls means you will use callback function. So wherever you are using callback function, that means that's an asynchronous call. Okay. So here what you are doing, you are taking the caller reference, g underscore form dot get reference, u underscore caller, comma, callback function. And you are closing the bracket. So you are in the callback function, you are taking the caller reference here, caller reference dot email, caller reference dot location, caller reference dot department. So that even if you create 100 client scripts with asynchronous calls, there won't be any performance issue. Do you understand the difference between synchronous and asynchronous calls? Everyone? Guys? Guys, always remember, okay, fine. So here we have used synchronous call, we have used asynchronous call. Synchronous calls will wait. Synchronous calls will wait. Asynchronous calls will not wait. Remember this point. Okay, fine. So yes, sir. How it manages to get the values without delay. So it is just simple logic. We have to use asynchronous calls. We have to use callback function. Okay. So we have to use callback function. If you use callback function, it won't make any delay. The form will be loaded immediately. So guys, remember this point. So there is a wedding event, guys. There is a wedding event. Okay. So in that wedding event, that bridegroom, that guy has called his friends. Okay. So what their friends decided? So we will wait. We all together will go there. All together will go there. So they have waited. The wedding is happening at the 8 a.m. Those guys actually decided we all three together go there. Something like that they decided. So they have waited there for everyone to reach there, all friends. So after meeting all these three friends there, they came here. They came at 9. They came at 9. So here, because of this, you know, synchronous call, because of their sync, what is happening here? It got delayed. It got delayed. So they came late. So his friend who is getting married, right? That guy is not waiting. That guy is not waiting for him. But here the farm will wait. Getting my point? So the bridegroom will wait, will not wait for his friends. Doesn't matter whether they come or not. For the exact time he'll tie the knot. Okay. So here, if the bridegroom waits, what happens? If the bridegroom waits, so everybody will come to him. Why are you waiting? My friends are coming. Something like that. He has to answer because these friends are in sync. This guy is getting impacted. The farm will be impacted. Getting my point? So what my point is, if they are not in sync, if they are in async, so some one guy will come first, one guy came later. So the wedding will happen as usually. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is the farm will wait for these values in the synchronous calls. The farm will not wait for these values in the asynchronous calls. First farm will be loaded, then values will come. In the synchronous call, it has to wait for the values, then farm will be loaded. Okay. Hope you understand the difference between sync and async. Okay. So that is fine, guys. In the farm, whenever I change the color value here, okay, let me just refresh this form. Whenever I change the color here, let us say I'm changing it to able tutor. So here able tutor email, able tutor location, able tutor department should be populated. If I select Abraham Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln email, Abraham Lincoln location, Abraham Lincoln department should be populated here. If I change it to Aline here, Aline email, Aline location, Aline department should be populated here. So now what I am writing on change client script on the color field. So here, whenever you change the value on the color field, on change client script will run, right? So whenever you change the value on a particular field, on change client script will run is what I told you. Okay. I am going to create a on change client script now on the color field. On change client script on the color field. Whenever you change the value on the color field, the on change client script will run. Okay. So here what I am doing is whatever the script that we write here. Same script I am writing here. I am taking the color reference here. Whenever you change the color, I am taking the color reference here. I am populating the color email, color location, color department here. Okay. Save this one. You can just go to the form and refresh this one. So whenever I change the color here, I'm changing the color to able tutor here. You can see able tutor email, able tutor location, able tutor department is populated. If I change it to Abraham Lincoln email, Abraham Lincoln location, Abraham Lincoln department is populated here. If I select Alil Modern, So Alin Motor and email, Alin Motor location department is populated here. So on change, I have created a on change client script on the caller field. You are changing the value on the caller field. So then what you are doing, you are taking the caller reference. You are using callback function. Why are you using callback function? To get the values in a asynchronous way. So in the callback function, you are taking the reference, caller reference dot email, caller reference dot location, caller reference dot department. Okay. So here you can make onload client script working on on-change client script working on onload as well, right? By removing this condition, you can remove this condition. Okay. So that what happens, this will work on onload as well. So here what I am doing is I can completely remove this line of script here. I can completely remove this line of script so that this on-change client script work on onload and on-change as well. Okay. So suppose if the value is selected as empty, if the color value is selected as empty, new value means selected value, new value equal to empty. Okay. I'm going to clear these three field values. I'm going to stop the script execution here itself. The selected value is empty. Here all the field values and stop the script execution here. Now you can see here this onload client script, this on-change client script work on onload and on-change both. Okay. Now you are going to refresh the form. So on-change client script will work on onload and populate these three details. Okay. Now again I am changing the value to Alin Motran. So Alin email, Alin location, Alin department is provided. The on-change client script is working on onload and on-change both. You can see here. So this is actually populating default values, guys. This client script is actually populating default values. Here it is populating reference values. My point. The form load, it is populating system administrator email, location, department. And after that, if you make it as empty, if the color value you are making it as empty, three field values should be cleared, right? If the color value selected is empty, I am going to make it as empty here. So when I make it as empty, it is getting empty here. Clean Motron, Lisa. Alisa email, Alisa location, department is populated here, right? If I make it as empty, color value as empty, fields are getting empty or not. If I select Alin Motran, Lisa, if I select Ali, okay. So Ali email, Ali location, Ali department is populated here. Okay. So using this on change client script, you are making on change client script running on load as well as on change as well. So what did you do here? You removed is loading attribute. There was is loading here. Is loading something like that. It was there, right? Condition. So what I did is I removed this part. Remove this part. That's it. I removed this part and I have actually added this field values as empty. Okay. So that this script will work on load and on change. First of all, what happens whenever you load the form in the caller field, current logged in username will be populated. After that, this on change client script work on load. It will populate caller reference values, system administrator, email, location, department. Then whenever you change the value, on change client script by default will run. Hope you understand, guys. Huh? Do you understand or not? Everyone. I am unmuting everyone. I am unmuting everyone. You can just, yeah, Rajeshwari, you can ask your doubts now. Mm, You can share your screen. I have unmuted everyone, guys. So Rajeshwari, you can share your screen.
Sir, I have a doubt in for of loops.
For loop will not work in service now, Sumitri.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Rajeshwari,
Sir, share చేస్తున్నాను.
yeah.
సార్ కనిపిస్తుంది సార్.
So you removed all of your roles.
Yes, sir.
Nothing is appearing in your instance. Okay. So go to the. Okay, you don't have admin role, right?
Yes, sir.
Go to ServiceNow account. Okay. Go to the. Yeah. Go to the profile. Click on refresh instance.
ఇది నిన్న చేశాను సార్.
You did already. Change user roles చేసారా? Reset and wipe instance will erase whatever she has done, Vinay.
Yes, sir.
Go to
అందుకే
App Engine. Go to App Engine Studio Creator role. Here only. Here only. Change role. And again change the role to admin role. Okay, done. Click on done. Change it to admin role again. Okay. Log out and log in again. You still didn't get the access. So you have no other option. You have to reset and wipe instance, Rajeshwari. Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. Any questions from anyone, guys?